It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light. So we know that Abba doesn't judge the way we as men judge. He judges in a different way. Now, his judgment is what should matter to you, right? Not the world's judgment, but his judgment of you. And how do you prove that his judgment of you is what is important to you? By what you do. So if man judges outward appearance, he judges how something looks and something sounds. He judges outwardly. And Abba doesn't judge as man judges, he says. Then imagine for a second, when you're going through this day, that only Abba is judging you. And if only Abba is judging you, how would you act? That's the question. Now that you know his judgment, you know how he judges because he made it clear in the scripture that he doesn't judge the way man judges because man judges outward appearance. But Abba looks on the heart. He searches the intentions. He searches the reins. So if that's what's important today, how would you live? Would you live according to outward appearance, knowing what we've just uncovered here? Or would you live based on your heart and your reins? What would become important to you today? If Abba's judgment is important to you, then what kind of behavior would be important to you? Outward show? Now, doesn't it make sense why Christ was always going to battle with those Pharisees, calling them hypocrites, saying that all y'all care about is how something looks on the outside? I mean, stop me when I'm wrong about what Christ was going to war with. What was he fighting against? Ignorance is what he was fighting against. Lies, deceptions, hypocrisy. Men, obviously, all the way in the Old Testament, had an issue, which was judging wrong. And then Christ comes all the way in the New Testament, and men are still judging that same way. If they could judge correctly, then would they have crucified the Lord of glory? So men proved their wrong judgment by judging an innocent man guilty and choosing a murderer in his stead. That proves the perversion of man's judgment. That's what needs to be stopped, is poor judgment. Men judging as men and not judging the way the Father judges. Because what judgment matters most? Men who judge outward appearance or Abba who judges the heart? Which judgment matters? So then, does it matter what you wear? What you put on? Now, what did Christ say about that? Take no thought of what you put on. You see why he's hitting that kind of thing? He's not talking about other stuff. He's not talking about another subject when he says that. He's talking about the same subject. Take no thought of what you'll put on. He says, look at the flower. Look at the lily. I assure you that Solomon in all of his glory was not arrayed like one of these. So Solomon in all his glory, why did he use Solomon? I told y'all this, because Solomon fulfilled it for you guys, all men. What Solomon did was for all men, edification and learning and admonition and correction. You see, He experienced it so that he could tell you what it will be like to experience it. And that's what he said. It's all vanity because it's done under the sun, which means it's done outwardly. And that's not the way God judges. You think you can make a country appear beautiful if you make the streets a certain way and make them clean. And if you plant certain trees here and you make the city square look like this and you make these buildings look like that, then you think the city is clean. It's blessed. But the heart of the city is corrupt. It's built on corruption, embezzlement, lies, deceptions, murder, and theft. See, as it is with Mystery Babylon. So that same ideal has been used against men because men do not accept how to judge the way God judges. That's why Christ said it, did he not? Now watch this. Christ said, I and the Father are one. So that means the word should not change if they are one. Well, what was the word from the Father to the prophet Samuel when Samuel went to anoint the king of Israel? It's what I'm quoting. When Samuel went to choose the king and he said, surely this is the Lord's anointed, because he was looking at Eliab. So he judged outward appearance. And Abba says, men judge like that, Samuel, but God doesn't. That's why that's not God's pick. God's pick is David because of David's heart. And then let's see if it's confirmed. A man after God's own heart. See? That's why he was chosen. So then why will you be chosen? And you who are chosen, why were you chosen? Because of your heart. So then what's most important today? If your heart is what got you picked, what will keep you picked? The same thing that got you picked. See that? It's not going to change because you decided to change your clothing, because that's not what got you picked. Those are hypocrites and over-righteous people and religious-minded people in the world who believe that if you don't have this on your head when you're doing that, then you're unrighteous. If you didn't put this on, then you're not righteous. If you got that certain ink on your skin right there, then you're not righteous. And it's all outward adorning. None of it has to do with the station of that person's heart. True judgment is to look beyond the flesh, to look past what you see with your eyes and what you hear with your ears when you see a person, and judge the heart, the intentions, because that's what the Father does, and nobody can deny this. Now let's see if Christ confirmed it, because remember I said they are one. So the Father says that man judges wrong. They judge outward appearance, but I judge the heart. That's what he told Samuel in the Old Testament. Let's see what Christ said. He says, judge righteous judgment. Don't judge outward appearance, but judge righteous judgment. So see how it doesn't change? Now the grandson of right thought today is telling you what? The same thing that the Father told you and the same thing that the Son told you, which confirms who I am as the grandson. See? See? Because of what comes out of the heart confirms who you are. So I'm telling you the same thing that Christ told you, which is what the Father told you. And now we're one. See how that goes? We're not two because we're not saying two different things. We're saying the same thing. So then us as three are one. See? Just like the scripture says, these three agree in one, just like what you're hearing today. The Father, the Son, and the grandson agree in one. So then they're one. Which is what? To stop judging outward appearance. Because I asked you, if no one could see you, how would you dress today? If no one could see you, would you put collagen? Would you put Botox if nobody could see you? Would you go get a nose job if nobody could see it? Would you go get your teeth fixed if nobody could actually see you, but they only saw your heart? See, that's what rattles people when you ask them that question. When they try to convince you of sin, and they say, well, you did this, so you're a sinner, or you're that, so you're wrong, or you're this, so because you're wrong. Just simply ask that person, what do you see and hear coming out of my heart? What do you see and hear coming out of my heart? Because that's the truth, isn't it? What I'm wearing can deceive you, but what come out of my heart can't deceive you. See? So what should you be paying attention to? The deception or the truth? But what are most of you people doing in this world? Just admit it. You're getting caught up in outwardly how it looks and how it sounds. That's it. And you can be deceived when you do that because you have some preconceived notion of God. You have some image in your mind of God that's error that needs to be fixed because it's not based on true judgment. If men judge outward appearance, then how do they judge God? By an outward sign or outward appearance. Just like Christ said, the kingdom of heaven cometh not with outward appearance. Why does he keep clarifying that? Because he doesn't want you looking at that because that's fake. What you see is a premeditated representation of the truth. You hear what I'm saying to you today? Which means when you see a person, they stood in a mirror first and decided how they wanted to appear to you. Some people have put on lace front wigs. They've put on weaves, fake eyelashes, fake contacts, fake teeth, fake bone structures, hormones, replacement therapies, sexual reassignment surgeries. And y'all think this about judging outward appearance? So then, if you have sexual reassignment surgery, you're a man who cuts off his genitals and gets a vagina made onto his body. And I see that means that you're a woman now. See? That's how outward appearance deceives you. Well, it looks that way. It sounds like a woman, so it must be a woman. No, I'm just going to ask you guys. Does that exist in the world? What I'm describing to you, if we're all honest with each other, does that exist in the world? People say, well, I look like this and sound like this, so this is what I am now. Is that happening in the world? Now, is it true that because they look that way and sound like that they are that? Well, then that proves God's ways are true, that men don't judge right. To judge means to come to a conclusion about something. So you've come to a conclusion about a person based on what you saw when you saw them, because you have preconceived notions on what you see means. For instance, let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's say you believe that a person who wears a lot of crystals on their body and in their hair and on necklaces and everything, wear a lot of crystals, that must be a highly spiritual individual. That's the conclusion you've made. You've judged that. That's wrong judgment because it's outward adorning. So now a person goes out in the world who happens to dress and adorn themselves with all these crystals all in their hair and on their face and everywhere. And when you see that, you say, they must be highly spiritual, but really they're a demon. They're really Satan, because no surprise, for Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. So whatever your idea of what an angel of light would be like, that's how he presents himself. Why were people offended when they saw Christ? Was it because he was filthy rich looking? Is that why they were offended at him? Because he had on very nice clothes, the most expensive things and nicest watches and biggest chains around his neck, driving in the nicest chariot, riding on the nicest horse, stallion, and all this shit? Is that why they were offended? Or is it because he was lowly, humble, meek? Hey man, behold the King of the Jews. No, 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 no. Change that and write on there, he said he was the King of the Jews. No, what I wrote is what I wrote. That's your king, whether you like that or not, whether you accept that or not, because I already used the example to prove to you that Israel don't know his king when they see him. So has it changed? Does God change? They don't know God when they see him, which means they don't know love when they see it. They're too busy looking at all the reasons why it couldn't be love that they're looking at outwardly. Oh, if this were God's person, they this. If this were a godly person, they would that. Is when you say they would that, is it outward? Because a godly person doesn't do outward things to appear righteous unto men. They serve God in spirit and in truth. Now, where is the spirit? In the secret hidden place. For God is a spirit and God is invisible. So then, me worshiping my God is done invisibly. You can't see it. All you can see is the results that I worship God, which is what? His words are pouring forth out of me, which, what did he say? If a man love me, keeps my words, then out of his belly shall flow living rivers of water, which means you can come to this person and receive a word that will heal you, a word that will rise you, a word that will elevate you, a word that will edify you, a word that will inspire you, a word that will encourage you. Well, only those things that can inspire, encourage, uplift, and edify come from the Father. So where are these words that are coming out of your brother's belly coming from? From the Father. Well, that proves that he worshiped the Father. That proves that he worshiped love and hold love above all else. That's how you prove it. It's not because of what I got on. That's why I wear the same thing, to prove it to you. That it's not about me having nice clothes that prove I'm a prophet of God. It's not about me having nice clothes that prove that God loved me. It's not about me having nice clothes that proves anything, because the flower out there in the field is more dressed than Solomon was. And I can't even get to Solomon's level. So then who am I to try to outward adorn myself to make myself into something when that flower is killing my clothes? How about I just be humble? Because isn't the body more than raiment? Isn't the life more than the food that you eat? But all y'all concern yourself with is raiment and what you eating. To point the finger at somebody and tell somebody and put judgment on them. But with the same judgment you measure, the same judgment going to be measured unto you. So clean your heart out. Stop thinking that people are outwardly righteous. That people are righteous because they're outwardly appearing righteous. Because it's the same thing that your master fought against. Hypocrisy. You hypocrites. You clean the outside of the cup. You hypocrites. You indeed appear righteous unto men, but in the inside, though, what does he say about the inside of their cups? What does he say, Israel? Does he say the inside of their cups were full of dead men's bones? While the outside appeared beautiful? Now, how many people have you met in the world like that who are outwardly beautiful and gorgeous and allure you through that? But once you get them in your life, then you see their heart, and you see their heart is full of wickedness and dead men's bones. It's happened to all of the elect. No one can deny this. And now it's all coming out in the world. Oh, narcissistic abuse. And I was with this sociopath. And I was this and I was that. Even they're being honest about themselves now, saying, I'm just an empty tear. Because God already told you there were tares on the earth that need to be separated from you, who is wheat. Now, which one is real and which one is fake? Which one is valuable and which one is useless? So there are some people who God uses to deceive you if you're caught in wrong judgment. It's not that person. Obviously, it's not them, because they're a tare. Useless, empty, fit for destruction. That's their end. Well, why were they made? To try you, the real being, wheat, to test you, to test your judgment, to see if you're judging righteously the way God does or if you're judging unrighteously. Because if you're judging unrighteously, then young man, you'll get with a beautiful girl because she's beautiful. Now, can evil women appear beautiful? Physically? Yes. Yes. Can a righteous woman appear ugly? Well, yes. Yes. Which one are you looking for then? A righteous woman of the heart or a wicked woman of outward appearance? Now your life is going to play out which one you is. You see what I'm trying to say to you? You got a beautiful woman standing next to you, bad as hell. Everybody wants her and desires her, but she's empty. She fights with you all the damn time. She has these emotional ups and downs. She's sad as hell one second, then all of a sudden she's excited as hell. Then the next minute she's all depressed and sad and wants to kill her damn self. You're finding her cutting herself. You're finding her doing all kind of wicked things and lying and deceiving and cheating and denying and just doing all type of smear campaigns against you and tricking you. And you see this? Because you didn't judge the heart. You were caught up on the outward appearance. So you paid the price for your wrong judgment. It's not somebody else did anything to you or you suffered because somebody else did something to you. It only happened to you because of your poor judgment. People like to make excuses. They like to say things like this. Yeah, when I got with that person, they were like this, but then I come to find out they were really this in the end. Okay, then that means your judgment was off. It doesn't mean they or him or her or nothing. It means your judgment wasn't right. Your discernment lacked. If they were able to trick you, then your discernment was lacking. Correct? No, my discernment was on point. Well, then how did you get tricked? Uh, because they. Because they. Because they. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So what does that saying mean? It means, okay, you got tricked one time, but once you got tricked, you better learn your lesson in your judgment. But if you go and do the same thing again, you see somebody else that look good on the outside and you start getting attracted to them and hanging around them and being around them and want to date them and have children with them, you're going to find out the same results till you accept God's ways. That's what it means. You're going to keep suffering until you accept God's truth. Wait a minute. Let me judge somebody based on their heart. Are they kind? Are they patient? Are they long suffering? Those should be the top priorities when I deal with a person. Are they kind? Are they patient? Are they long suffering? Do they seek their own? Are they puffed up? Do they vaunt themselves up? Those are the things that I should be looking for. Do they rejoice when the truth comes out? Or do they rejoice over lies? Which one? That's what I need to be paying attention to. And all those things come out of their heart, correct? Whether a person is kind, is it what brand they have on that tells me whether they're kind or not? So let me get this right, guys. Kind people wear Louis Vuitton. No, actually, most assholes wear that. Kind people wear Balenciaga. Generous people wear Balenciaga. Patient people wear Gucci. No, actually, most impatient people wear that kind of stuff. See what I mean? How it's flipped on you? Most of the people who have those things that you deem are nice are wicked people that have the comforts of this life. They have their reward then. You see? But is your reward in heaven? Well, then if it is, then you need to be paying attention to your heart and the hearts of others. That's all discernment is the ability to judge the heart. That's what the Father does. He judges the heart. That's what the scriptures say. So when you go out, like I said, and you appear before men, how do you appear? Do you do like Christ, or do you do like Christ was saying about those Pharisees? Which one do you do? When he said, y'all do everything y'all doing to be seen of men. That's all y'all are doing. Y'all want to look good to a man. Man don't judge right. God told you that he don't. So what does it matter if he judges you good? The world calls good evil and evil good. Uh-oh. Don't you know that if the world calls you good, then that means you're evil? The world calls you evil, that means you're good? Oh, didn't know that? Okay, well, let's use it another way. Friendship with this world is hatred against God. Same thing? See? Fitting in with the world means that you have opted out of fitting in with God because the two don't go together. You can't judge outward appearance and judge the heart, in other words. You have to choose which God you serve. Do you serve mammon or the material world? Is that who you're serving? Well, you prove who you serve by how you feel about what you're looking at. Oh, wow. Look at all of the glitter and the gold. Yeah, that's what they said about Satan. That's what they said about the devil, the deceiver. Look at him. He's so beautiful. Look at all the glitter and the gold. Look at all the pomp. Oh, how thou hast fallen. Thy pomp is brought to the ground. See, pride goes before a fall. Now, is pride outward? See? See how it goes? I'm better than everybody. Look at what I got on. Look at what I'm driving. I'm better than you. Look at the degrees on the wall behind my head. I'm better than you. All that is outward. Vainglory is all outward show. It's done under the sun. That's why it's called vainglory. Because guess what? Everything done under the sun is vanity and vexes my spirit. It is vexation of spirit. Don't forget that part. A lot of people want to say all is vanity, but they forgot the part where he says, and vexation of my spirit. It blocks my spirit from doing what my spirit needs to do. See? Your spirit sees a person and says, oh man, don't mess with that person. That person's wicked. But then you go, but they got on a brand new Rolex, man. Look at that. You start walking closer. Look at that Bugatti Veyron. They got parked out in the parking lot. Wow, man, I need to meet this guy and talk to him. Because of material, well, then that proves who you worship. Woman walking up the street minding her own business. A guy walks by. Hey, girl, can I holler at you? No, I got a boyfriend. No, I'm married. No, I ain't got no time. He says, all right. He goes and clicks the fob over there to his Ferrari parked over there on the corner. As soon as she sees that that's the car he clicked the fob to, she turns around and starts walking back. Hold on a minute. I know I said I had a boyfriend, but we kind of on the rocks right now. Wait a minute here. I've had that happen to me, y'all. I saw a woman one day, gorgeous woman, beautiful. I'm walking through the grocery store. She's in the grocery store at work. This was years ago. She's working there. She's a beautiful girl. So I approached her. I'm like, wow. Hey, how you doing? We got to talking back and forth. I said, are you taken? Do you have someone? And she says, yeah, I am. She reluctantly said it. Oh, I felt the energy. I saw it. I said, she doesn't really want to admit that because she's into me. But she did admit it. Yeah, I do. I said, oh, okay. Well, hey, I'll go on my way. Okay? I'll go on my way. But she had my information already. So I said, well, if anything changes in the future, let me know. I went on my way, not thinking of it anymore. I'm chilling one day. I get a text. The text is from the same girl I told y'all about saying, hey, me and my boyfriend, we're on the outs right now. We're not really feeling each other right now. So what's up with me and you? See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I told y'all she's a very beautiful girl. But wait a minute here. I'm having a discernment alarm going off. You just told me you got a man. Then you went home and thought about me and was like, I'd rather be chilling with him right now than this old chicken dinner. I'd rather be with that witter. I'm just being silly. But y'all get the point. And so she hits me up. No, I didn't hang out with her and didn't see her. I chopped it off. I'm like, no, you got a man. This ain't right. Said you got a man and y'all got your own thing going on. But what if I was judging on outward appearance? Well, she told me what it sounds like. Well, she told me that they're not messing around anymore, that they're cut off. They're done. And she's beautiful. See what I see and what I hear. So then let me go talk to her. Then we go out and hang out. Next thing I know, here come baby daddy come pulling up. Wanting to choke the life out of me. I ain't playing that game. Nope. You wasn't being honest, girl. See, I'm looking at her heart. You saw me, you got attracted, just like I saw you and got attracted. But if you already taken, then hey, ain't no need in acting reluctant. Just keep it real and tell me the truth. Judging the heart of the matter. And so it is with us in everything that we go through. We get caught up looking out the outside. We walk over there, we be like, hey, what's up? Then as soon as we see the heart ain't right, we be like, oh, well, they just look too darn good and I want that too bad. I want to touch too bad. I want to taste too bad. See? But when you judge the heart of the matter, then you know what's right for you and what ain't right for you. You see what I'm saying? Because you're judging the way God judges. What will be good for you? Well, you got to look at the heart and the reins, and then you'll know what's good. But if you're looking at the outward, you'll end up with dead men's bones. So, like I said, ultimately, in the end of this message, the point is, how would you act and what would you do in the world if you accepted this principle that God doesn't judge the way man judges? That would prove to you who you're worshiping. Mammon, man, mammon, material, you see? Or the invisible, the unseen, spirit and in truth, or flesh, because that's the only alternative of spirit is flesh, correct? That's flesh's alternative. So then if you're not worshiping in spirit, then you're not worshiping in truth. And outward adorning is not spirit. Wow, check that out, guys. Eloquence of speech is not spirit. Wow, check that out, guys. Yeah, because when we pray to God, we don't use fanciful words or vain repetition or nothing, because our spirit speaks with groanings that cannot be uttered. So if you worship him in spirit, you worship him with vibrational feelings from your heart. When you see injustice, your heart says this is unjust, and that's what Abba hears. If you see iniquity and your heart shudders because of that, that's what Abba hears. You can stand up there for 2 hours and use words. He doesn't hear that. Because why are you doing that if God doesn't judge outwardly how it sounds or what it looks like? Go inside. See, that's the point. Go inside to the heart of the matter, because that's where the truth is at. So what y'all gonna do today? Y'all gonna keep being a little flock that get led astray by the wolves that put on little sheep's wool, but inwardly are ravenous wolves? All of these warnings. I mean, look at the warnings, guys. Look how many warnings he gives about that. I mean, doesn't he? Or am I just the only one that sees it? The amount of warnings that he gives about being tricked by what it looked like and sound like. As soon as you overcome that, then you have overcome the world. You can no longer be deceived once you overcome outward appearance. Silouan, Mr. Allah.